Hey guys, welcome back. Today I've got some pretty damn interesting stuff to talk about that surfaced only a few days ago. So recently a bunch of ex-Bungie and 343 devs were interviewed to create this sort of Halo development timeline spanning from as early as 1997 to present day. And of course, they cover the highly coveted Halo movie, which was previously involving Peter Jackson and Neil Blomkamp. And they also reveal details about a game that was kind of related to this movie, Halo Chronicles. So according to Joe Staten, the game was going to be a collaborative effort between Bungie and Wingnut Interactive, a game dev company that Peter Jackson was trying to start. Paul Bertone, who was the creator of Firefight and also the lead designer on Halo 2 and Halo 3, said that for the game you weren't going to be playing as Chief. Instead, you would play as just a regular Marine, something that I can't fucking believe hasn't happened for Halo yet. But anyway, Marty also said that you wouldn't be playing as an alien, but that you'd be almost augmented like one, with alien tech attached to your arm, and stuff like that, which sounds pretty fucking metal. Paul Bertone went into further detail, giving pretty much, as far as I'm aware, all of the real detail that we actually have about the game. It was public knowledge in like 2009 that it was maybe happening, but as far as I'm aware, nobody knew any of the nitty-gritty details, at least to this level. So apparently Joe Staten came up with this concept of Be the Bullet, where the player is taken on this emotional and gameplay journey from being just a regular human soldier to eventually becoming this hyper-augmented modified human. Not a modified human in power armor, instead one with, and in his words, biological shit actually happening to you. It seems like Bungie's original intention was to give this Marine sort of like Spartan augmentations or something kind of on that same page, but with the fucking dial turned up to 11. Like, this stuff sounds batshit insane. Okay, so here's where the batshit insaneness really starts to tone up. Apparently you were able to freely switch between combat modes, where one mode was where you were regular and another was where you were augmented. Now in the augmented mode, your only method of attack was melee, and you had two hand weapons, one of which would push enemies away from you, while the other stunned them in place. You could also double jump, perform an auto-aimed long-distance dash in midair. Oh, thank God that never happened. Oh, wait. Anyway, Bertone mentions that Bungie played around with lowering the camera, slowing player movement, lowering jump height, etc, etc, and they also apparently rebuilt the first 5 missions of Halo 3 with those exact traits just to see how they played, specifically with no shields. He said they found out the extent to which they could start to sort of pull back these features, seemingly to make you feel less like a super soldier and more like a human, and that dialing all these core movement mechanics back still works surprisingly well with Halo's level design and sandbox. Ultimately, their core intention was to make you feel weaker as a player, and in doing so, they also apparently attempted to redesign the AI. Now, the plan was to make it so the AI didn't attack you straight away, and to try and do this, they developed a system called Kung Fu, where you'd be sort of surrounded by a bunch of enemies, but only a few would attack you at the same time, so they'd sort of funnel towards you, while others would hide or reveal themselves to see you. So it's like you have a massive group of enemies in front of you, and only 1 or 2 attack you at once, the rest of them stay in the background. I don't really know how that would have worked. It sounds incredibly odd, but then again, Bungie's ideas were incredibly odd. It's one of the reasons that they were so successful, because they took so many weird risks. Now, moving on to the narrative, they had something pretty damn big planned, and bear in mind this is like 2007 Bungie guys talking. The character that you played as was eventually going to become a Promethean. Their Promethean concept was, of course, used later on in Halo 4 and Halo 5, and we have no idea if the term meant anything close to what it means now, but either way, it's pretty cool that around the time of Halo 3, they were already chalking up the idea of Prometheans to an extent in Halo, but like I said, their meaning of Promethean is likely very different to ours. I think something pretty obvious can be inferred from all of this information though. Considering Paul Bertone was the lead director for ODST, many of these features and ideas definitely did transition into ODST in one way or another. The most obvious ones being lower jump height, making the player feel weaker, no shields, and not lowering the camera, but increasing the field of view, so either way it's linked to altering the camera position. According to Paul, some of the AI things they were testing also made it into ODST, so I would assume that maybe this was during Rookie's open world missions on Mombasa streets, where you could legitimately hide away from enemies and have them walk past you, have battalions of like brutes and grunts walk past you, but I don't know, it seems like something that we would have noticed, and I never really noticed any AI abnormalities with ODST. Maybe I was blind to it all, but I never noticed anything. So overall, the plan for the game was for you to mostly play as the Promethean version of the main character, this Marine, and okay, now this is where it gets like really fucking crazy. You ended up in low orbit fighting Covenant cruisers with an ability that turned you into a missile, targeting certain parts of the ships. Now, that is just batshit insane, and honestly reminds me of no other game I've ever played before. Please enlighten me in the comments if that's anything similar to any other game, but to me it just kind of entrenches the idea that Bungie really did love doing stuff that nobody had ever even considered before, and maybe the reason that nobody had considered something like this before is for some pretty damn good reason. Sadly though, as the game seemed to be linked with the Halo movie, which was cancelled around 2007, Chronicles was cancelled too, which was confirmed in 2009. According to Peter Jackson, the game collapsed sometime around the same time as the movie collapsed, which makes sense considering they were sort of interlinked with each other. Sad times. Well, kind of. Honestly, that game just sounds way too crazy for my liking. It sounds like some weird sort of prototype mech game hybrid from the early 2000s. Really not my taste, and personally I'm really happy that Bungie didn't go through with that, but the idea of playing as a regular, down-to-earth, human Marine is something that I can't believe we haven't had yet in Halo. The closest we got is ODST, and even then it still felt a little bit floaty, a little bit like we were still playing as a Spartan. I just want a Halo game where we play as a regular human. Just so bad. The potential of a game like that is insurmountable. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a video that sort of touches on this human experience more. I'm going to be talking about why Halo needs a Horde mode, and I mean a fully fleshed out, fully competent, and possibly even standalone Horde mode. It's something that I have wanted Halo to do, like actually have a real go at since Firefight was first released, and I really don't think that either Bungie or 343 have done, so I don't know, maybe this video gets some sort of internal cogs working at 343 and maybe they choose to make a dope-ass Horde mode in Halo 6. I don't know, I can dream. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll catch you then.